Hey everyone, it's Luke here from LT Gaming and welcome back to the channel. Alright X4 players, this one's for you. You've built the stations, you've mined the asteroids, you sat through an entire trade route setup just to realise your freighter got blown up by pirates 5 minutes later. But now it's time to pull out the briefcases because diplomacy has finally arrived in X4 Foundations. The 8.00 update currently in public beta isn't just a balance patch. This is a whole new layer of sandbox control. Proper diplomacy system with agents, interfaction manipulation, and a literal embassy room. Yeah, it's real. Now, one important thing to remember with X4 is it can take a lot of time to get to this content, and as a content creator, that can be a bit of a nightmare. So I did have an accelerated start and had a look around at some of the options, and obviously I'm using some of the information that's out there to get the full experience. But I want to get this out there because honestly, Egosoft and X4 have had a massive impact on me as a gamer. So let's take a look at everything packed into this update, from political maneuvering to station design improvements, DLSS upgrades, and why this might be the most game-changing update Egosoft has dropped yet. If you're new to the party, X4 Foundations is one of the most ambitious space sims out there. It's a real-time single-player sandbox where every ship, station, economy, and faction plays out dynamically in a fully simulated universe. You can fly anything, build anything, trade everything, or just sit back and watch a galactic arms race spiral out of control where you mine in space in a remote sector. But despite all that depth, one thing X4 never had was real diplomatic control. You could influence your own relations with factions, sure, but the rest of the galaxy, that played out like background noise. The 8.00 update changes that. Diplomacy is no longer passive. You can now actively influence interfaction politics, spy on enemies, sway peace talks, and even destabilize the entire galaxy if that's your vibe. It's a level of control that this sandbox really needed, and I think long-term players are going to really appreciate this step forward by Egosoft. What makes this update so impressive is how well it slots into X4's existing simulation framework. This isn't just bolted on flavor text, it's a new strategic pillar interwoven with reputation, economy, ship deployment, and long-term planning. You're not just building fleets anymore, you're shaping relationships, alliances, and trade routes across the map, or tearing them apart from the shadows. It opens up a new kind of gameplay loop for X4 veterans. Less micromanagement, more macro influence. And for players who love sandbox storytelling, this is huge. Watching factions shift allegiances or spiral into war because of an agent you planted hours ago, that's pure emergent gameplay. This is X4 finally leaning into the grand strategy energy that's always been lurking under the surface. Okay, so let's break down the core of the diplomacy system with three major components. First, you have the Embassy Room, which is unlocked through research at your player HQ. The Embassy Room is your diplomatic control center. You get a roundtable view of the galaxy's major factions, complete with new UI tabs for tracking relationships, negotiating deals, and monitoring diplomatic status. It's clean, it's integrated, and it gives you a proper command seat in the game's political theatre. I find it really immersive. Number 2, you've got agents. You can now hire agents, NPC specialists who can focus on espionage or negotiation. You're able to assign them to your ships and they can improve your faction standings, steal blueprints, forge ceasefires, or pull off high-risk diplomatic interference operations. They level up over time, from recruit to spy master, and missions come with cooldowns, risks, and resource requirements. This is no fire and forget system, it's proper long-term game mechanic. And finally, the spicy part, diplomatic interference. You can now actively influence the relationships between factions. Trigger disputes, incite peace talks, or just sit back and unleash chaos. There's even an option that lets the AI periodically generate interfaction drama without your input. A really awesome option. I mean, you can do nothing, steer the outcomes, or spark a galactic mess for your own gain. It's up to you. Just a quick interlude to say most of you who watch the channel are not subscribed. So make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button because it helps smaller channels like us grow really quickly, and both me and Tom really appreciate it. Diplomacy might be the headline, but the 8.00 update brings more under the hood. There's a new map layout. The universe map has been reorganized for better readability, and sectors are now grouped more intuitively, which is huge for late game empire planning. Honestly, anything about the map in this game, I'm happy for improvements. Then there's DLSS Frame Generation. Now, this is the part I'll probably get wrong because I'm not that technical, but X4 has always been CPU heavy thanks to its full universe simulation. Now with DLSS 3 and soon to be 4, players with RTX 40 and 50 series cards can get smoother performance through frame generation, especially useful in massive battles or high resolution setups. If you're more technical, let me know what all that means or what it does in the comments below. Now I have a rough idea, but honestly, if you told me to explain it in depth, I wouldn't be the right person. But hey, it's there and it's a new feature, and honestly, when I've played, it does boost the frame rate a lot. There's also new station modules, so you builders can rejoice. You've got 5 new connection pieces, including curves, T-junctions, and clean vertical caps. It's not just about function anymore, you can finally build those aesthetically perfect megastructures, a real highlight in X4. And let's not forget our Portuguese friends, there's now voiceover support, a great move for accessibility and a nice touch for fans in that region. Of course, this is still a public beta, so everything you see is first pass implementation. There's no full tutorial path into the new diplomacy mechanics yet, and to even unlock them you need to have finished the Trade Revolution storyline and progressed your HQ. This means many casual or new players won't see this content for a long time unless they're loading a high-level save. And while agents and events are promising, there's a bit of UI friction and cooldown juggling right now that might benefit from a polished pass before full release. But as a system, the foundation is incredibly promising. It's quite hard not to compare this to Stellaris or even another 4X diplomatic layer. But the difference is, this isn't a 4X game, it's a living sandbox, and that makes diplomacy feel earned, not abstract. You're not just clicking treaties, you're watching actual AI factions reroute trade ships, respond to political fallout, and reconfigure military priorities based on events that you helped cause. And that opens the door for true sandbox storytelling, whether you're forging peace or quietly pushing 2 neighbors into war, while your fleet grows unnoticed. It really has kind of a Star Trek feeling to me when you watch the start of some of the original Star Trek movies with Kirk and they're all sat round talking about the latest diplomatic incident and how Kirk's going to fix it. It did give me that kind of feeling. This is the first iteration of diplomacy in X4 and Egosoft is already gathering feedback during the beta. What's here is a strong framework, but there's massive potential if they keep building on it. More events, more agent depth, maybe even full peace treaties or faction creation someday, who knows? The important part is X4 now has a political brain and that's going to change everything in the future. So, are you diving into the beta or waiting for the full release? Do you think diplomacy adds the layer X4 has been missing? Or are you still stuck micromanaging station modules while pirates blow up your miners? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want more previews like this, especially deep strategy and sim breakdowns, hit subscribe, more is on the way. I've been Luke from LT Gaming, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one.